This is episode 17 of Triple Cross Cinema. I'm Whooper, and here's Mario.
Hey everyone.
Last time, what was episode 16 about? Soviet cinema, right? From the
Yep,
70s?
that's right.
This time we're staying in the same decade, but we're moving a little bit to the west. So we're going to talk about German cinema in the 70s, specifically the new German cinema movement.
Mhm.
And, we keep theming these episodes around like different cinematic movements, but then we don't discuss them in a larger context. We just watch three films from them. So I feel a little weird saying that this episode is about new German cinema. Uh, but we have three films here from that time period and from that movement, and those
Uh,
are Aguirre, The Wrath of God, Ali, Fear Eats the Soul, and Alice in the Cities, all of which start with the letter A.
yeah.
As a big fan of alliteration, I was happy to see this lineup coalesce.
Mm.
Any thoughts on any of these films or German
We
film from around this time period before we start talking about them?
we can talk about the movement at large if you like to, because I would say that these three films can share some like similar themes, and something that are different than like the others films from other countries, continents that we have watched.
You say that we could talk about it, but what you really mean is you could talk about it. So
All right.
I have no clue, and I'm also very curious to see like what do you think Aguirre, or however you pronounce it,
Yep.
what does that share in common with the other two films?
All right. First of all, I think that these three films, like or maybe the new German cinema at large, they have more like international, like appeal, in the sense that like Aguirre, it actually setting in like Amazon jungle, I think, and they have like a international cast, and I in the filming, I think they all speak in English, and then they eventually got dubbed in German.
Yeah, I noticed that the some of the characters' lip movements
It,
matched what I would expect them to be saying in English,
yeah, that's
like what the
true.
subtitles said. It was
Yep.
very weird until I saw it on Wikipedia, and I was like, oh, so
Nice.
I'm not just like completely egocentric in thinking this is actually real.
Yeah, and at least in the cities, it's have international appeal as well. So it start in America, and then it's
Hmm.
go to Amsterdam, and it's go back to Germany country. So it actually like go a long way. And even Ali Theater Show, which is the only film that like set in German, out of these three films, is still with the ethnic uh, population.
Population,
Yeah.
yeah.
So yes,
He's because Ali is Moroccan.
yeah, that's right. So yeah, it's have like the international appeal that that I get. And
But what about the filmmaking itself? I
the
just
film.
don't feel like there's a lot of similarity
All right,
between
the
Aguirre.
filmmaking. I feel, I actually feel it's more like the independent American, like what they are in the late 80s, late 80s, early 90s. So I have like a lot of indie feel to these three movies, like handheld shot, and the less you off, like soundtrack OST. They still have that, but like it's more like using natural sound and natural light, like lighting, and
Dude, there's no
yes.
way. Ali Fear Eats the Soul, none of that was handheld.
Yeah, no, that one not. I'm thinking more of Aguirre and at least in the CDs. So I do feel that like compared to the Hollywood, but is you can see that it is staged. This one more like setting in the naturals. It's safe for Ali.
Yeah, I just don't.
So
I don't know.
yeah,
They're all in German.
all
That's one
right.
thing that they share. But for me, that's pretty much it.
Yeah. Well, and the three directors have has the name starting with W. So Werner Herzog. Herzog.
Werner, Werner
Yeah.
Herzog,
Yeah.
Vin
Rainer
Wenders,
Werner Wim Wenders. Rainer Wenders Fassbinder.
right?
Okay, I'm sounding German now.
You sound German now. I feel like
S-
any German person listening to this would beg to differ.
all right. Yeah. So that's what I take. So it's more about and it's really is like a director version out of these three films. You see like what they you can see the style of the three directors clearly throughout the movies.
Well, I can't
All right.
because I've never seen any of their films apart from these three. But I'm gonna have to trust you.
Yeah. Well, I this is the first time I've watched any film. Oh, it's the first time I've watched a film from Werner Herzog and a film from Fassbinder. So yeah, but that the style is distinctive for sure.
Hmm. All right. Well, which of these three styles should we discuss first?
Let's get with the early release first. So Aguirre, the Wrath of God.
Right. This film was this film
Yeah,
was funny to me.
I can say I agree with you.
Like I didn't take this seriously at any point.
At any point.
No. I mean, well, there was one point, and it was probably the opening shot, which
Mhm.
is incredible.
Yep, yep,
Just unbelievable the way that this like military procession is descending the mountain along the steps that are carved into the side of it,
yep, yep,
and the way that it connects what's in the in the distance in the background
yep,
higher up the mountain, and as it slowly pans down, you start to see the same procession, but much further along in the line in the foreground, and then it continues to pan down, and it connects them together. This is very impressive, and you've got the like the sort of heavenly sounding choral music
mhm,
playing as well, like oh, it kind of makes you feel like something spiritual is happening here, like this is a holy crusade or quest,
yep,
which of course the film undercuts that 100 times throughout its run, but it kind of starts that way, like kind of blowing you back a
yep,
little bit.
yep,
That's probably my favorite part of the movie. It's
yep.
the opening shot, and just in general the use of the like music to give the film a sense of grandeur.
All right. So basically everything before Aguirre appears.
Well,
Oh,
you see him in the procession,
yep, yep, yep.
in the line
Get
of
it.
people. You see him
Yeah,
because
but
he's right in front of the what do you call it? It's not a palanquin, but it's
all right.
the things that they're sitting in. The two women.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know what you mean. I don't know
Oh,
what to say.
sedan chair. I don't know if that's the correct term for it, but that's what was written in the subtitles. In my subtitles was sedan chair.
All right.
He's walking directly in front of, I think, his daughter's sedan chair.
Yep.
And he's very attached to her, obviously. So attached to her that at the very end of the film, he plans to impregnate her and start his own dynasty of pure blooded Spaniards, I guess.
Yep. Man, I don't even know if she have any line of dialogue. Does she?
Does she? I think she talks at one point.
All right.
Does she? I don't know.
Yeah. That just to say that's her role. Actually, just like just more just like figures. And we don't really see or even like in any of these characters like the real characters they act so over the top and well I think we can start first with the stories. So the whole crusade got lost and then they decide to bring some of the men to go forward to see if there is any uh, the CD. They looking at the CD, the Eldorado, and they I think they give them like 7 days to find the CD, to get the food, and to come back uh, to the crusade. And the group they got lost, and they start off killing each others.
They start killing each other.
Yeah. They got ambushed by the like the unseen enemy as well.
Well, you're jumping really far ahead.
I know, but that's the gist of the story.
Well, when you say they start killing each other, what I think what you're referring to is the people who are trapped on the raft. They're like
Yep,
trapped in an eddy. They
yep, yep,
can't
yep,
get their way out of it due to the currents on the river.
yep, yep, yep. Man,
Because they make
I,
3 rafts and one of them gets stuck, so they
yeah,
just leave them there with plans to rescue them eventually. But during the night, I think there's like they hear rifle fire or
yep,
something,
yep,
and
yep,
one of the Spaniards and 2 of the oarsmen, who I guess were slaves, are missing
yep, yep,
because there are 6 corpses, but originally there were 7 Spaniards and two oarsmen.
yep, yep. That's right. Um, that's I think I just amazed like how they could shot that like in real life, because I don't think like there's any it just happened in real life, like the that draft just got like under the current, and you can see the 2 old men like work really hard to keep it survive.
I was during all those shots, I was actually like fixating specifically on the oarsmen to see if they were really rowing or not, and
Yeah,
I
and
I couldn't I couldn't tell you. I sort of doubt
yep,
it.
yep, all right,
And if just because their raft gets stuck up against a rock, that doesn't mean it's actually, doesn't mean they can't actually escape. Obviously, those people weren't trapped there forever and
mm-hmm.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they probably got off and swam over, like 10 feet over to a rock or something.
Yep. Well, but I think
But they built those rafts,
yep, yep, yep,
you know,
yep.
and especially the raft that deteriorates, the one that they take out into the center of the river once you get a little further along in the
Mm-hmm.
film. And you see wide shots of it all the time, and as the film progresses the raft gets more and more like torn down.
Yep.
That the fact that they built that and had to modify it so much to suit
Mm-hmm.
all the different parts of the movie
Mm-hmm.
was pretty impressive as well.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. Um,
And some of the scenes of like early on in the film when people are like wading through the swampy water and they're like up to their hips
yep,
in swampy stuff, and they're trying to get the horses through it and get the sedan chairs that are holding the women
yep.
through it.
Uh-huh,
That you can't imagine that the crew working on this film was very happy.
yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, so we at that point we see the first death. So like all these all the people there lost in the draft appear to killing themselves, or is was it the old man and the other Spaniard guy who killed the other 6? We don't know about that, but
I
it
mean,
actually
you can assume that, I don't know, that
the
the 2 oarsmen revolted along
yeah.
with one of the Spaniards.
Right, yeah, we can assume that, but I think it's effective due to the fact that it happened off screen. So we just see like the bodies laying around, and like we see the danger of like or the potential way that like these old men might kill these the Spaniards. When it comes to all the killing we see later on, it actually just so bad.
What do you mean?
The uh, it, it's the way that like all these arrows just like just kind of pop up randomly
Oh
into
yeah.
into the bodies, and like we have the shot of one of the random guy who just look down and see the arrow just like hitting them and they die.
Yeah.
And
Well, I mean, this isn't really an arrow.
oh, what was that then? I think it's like the poison arrow that they got.
Do you remember Okello, the African slave?
Yep.
That is no ship. That is no forest. He gets shot with an arrow and says, "That is no arrow."
Right.
This is after they've all started to lose their minds. Do you not remember this scene when he gets shot in the leg with an arrow and says, "That's not an arrow. Like that's not real."
Yeah. I even remember one of the guy. I don't know if it's Okello or not. Who gets shot in the arrow and then he kind of speak to the camera something, and that before he fall down he fall off the rift.
Yeah, that's the previous scene. And what he says is, "Man, these longer arrows are getting very popular." And then he falls off the raft and dies.
Man, I just cannot take all this seriously.
Yeah. I mean,
I,
that's what I'm saying. This film, I don't know how I'm supposed to feel about it really. Like, you know, it's it kind of documents a massive expedition
yep,
into the jungle and along the river
yep.
in search of a city of gold.
Hmm.
And it's Aguirre who eventually, takes command of the whole thing, and he's supposed to be like a larger than life presence. But as you have all those sort of epic components that are going into this film, the movie itself, I just thought was kind of goofy.
Yeah, it's kind of minimalist, minimalist, uh, and
I don't know. I don't know what you mean.
minimal. It
Oh,
just
minimalist? No, there's no way is this film minimalist. Are you kidding?
I mean the way it tells the story, it kind of minimalist. But
I don't know.
I actually find the
I think
fact
that's
that
giving Herzog too much credit.
yeah, all right. I still agree that Aguirre is the most fascinating characters out there. He just like it's just hard to understand what his mind is going. So he like he planned for the coup d'état. So he attacked the leader is in command. He appoint another one. I don't know
Right.
why he doesn't want to become a leader then.
Well, the reason he does it is because Don Fernando de Guzman, who's the
Yep.
person who he appoints the king of El Dorado,
Yep.
the reason he does that is because that guy has he's part of an important Spanish bloodline, which is the reason he's on the expedition in the first place.
Right.
So Aguirre wants to maintain the facade of, I don't know, like the patriarchal
Puppet.
line that this guy
Yeah.
belongs to, in order
Yeah.
so that people will, fall in line and do what he says.
Yeah. And it really is he appoint that man, but it's just a puppet king, and it's Aguirre who who have the influence of on these other members of the expanded.
Right. Yeah, when there's a showdown between Pedro de Ursua, who's
Yep.
the guy who was initially put in charge of this like branching
Yep.
expeditionary force.
Yep.
Eventually, Ursua tries to take control and I don't know. He tries to.
I think maintain order.
Well, yeah, but what does he try to do to Aguirre exactly? Like
Uh,
apprehend him, I guess, or imprison him or something. The reason I'm kind of stuck on my words here is because I don't know what to call it because he spectacularly fails.
yeah.
Like
Bec-
Aguirre has already
yeah. Because
taken control of the expedition
yeah
because
because
people. Go ahead.
yeah. Yeah. I just say because he furious because other team member just building the raft without his orders, and basically just doesn't listen to him.
Right, they're doing what Aguirre wants,
Yep. Yep.
and when he tries to apprehend him, they shoot him.
Yep. Yep.
He has that one follower who like sings a little song to himself.
Right. Right.
before he kind of carries out Aguirre's wishes, which is pretty, in concept, it's pretty frightening.
Yeah.
I don't know if I was very frightened by his character in the film. It didn't really come across that way to me, but I think that's a trope, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the
That
truth.
that exists in like lots of other movies. Is there'll be a particular character, like a murderer, for example, who will whistle a certain song to himself as he makes his way through a building. Like as he's walking through the hallways, he'll be whistling, and the sound will be reverberating, bouncing off the walls and everything.
Hmm.
I wonder where that idea comes from.
Yeah. Well, not
Probably
from
like
here.
a story, like a children's story or something
Right.
of an
Yep.
evil animal who like sings a song to himself as he plans to murder everyone.
But Aguirre, so yeah, he take control of the group, but he tried to build the like he tried to make a like fair travel of Ursula, but
Yeah,
he
it's a
he
farce. It's not really fair. And the brother, what is his name? Brother Gaspar. Yeah, his
Gaspar.
his family name is Carvajal.
Yep.
Carvajal. I don't know how you would pronounce it in German. It sounds Spanish. Oh, yeah, he would be Spanish, I guess.
Yep.
These characters are all Spanish, but he. I mean, I think one of the film's main points is that uh, it's ridiculous, like what they're doing, the pretext under which they're invading these people's homelands and attempting to spread the word of God is like completely stupid. And the scene where that comes across the most clearly, I think, is the one where they're approached by two natives who row out to their raft in their canoe. And
Right. Yep. Yep.
when
Yep.
Gaspar is trying to evangelize and like proclaim that this Bible contains the word of God, the native takes the Bible and holds it up to his ear as though it's going to speak to him. And
Yep.
they're
Yep.
all like so offended that they kill him like right away.
Yep. Oh man,
It's just so comical. The scene is
I
so
agree. Yep.
funny. Him holding the Bible
Yeah.
up to
So
his ear.
it mixed between like really I would say satire and some great stuff as well. So remember like this group come into like one of these I think abandoned huts,
Hmm.
and they see some fruit, so they eat them, I think banana and stuff, and then they saw like a skeleton,
A corpse.
a corpse in there, and they think, oh man, this guy this guy are
Right.
cannibals, and then they stop eating, and they live in the ghost.
I wasn't exactly
And
sure what was going on there. Was there evidence of cannibalism?
so they see a hand,
Yeah.
a skull inside, I think inside one of the I think the cooking pot.
Oh, okay.
It does. It doesn't look like a cooking pot, but I would figure that's a cooking pot. So they have they find the skull, and they said like uh yeah, this guy eaten this.
Okay. I wasn't sure whether that was meant to be humorous, like whether they were under a complete misapprehension or not.
I don't know. They play straight.
Yeah.
So
But I'm more curious about whether the film was playing it straight, like whether we were supposed to think that there was actually cannibalism happening there. Because I don't
mm,
remember. Like I remember watching that scene, but I don't remember there being any like clear evidence of cannibalism.
no.
Okay.
It's just that one
Then
detail.
they
Yeah.
yeah, they're ironically they're superstitious. The men who were
Yep.
supposedly on this quest to spread the word of God throughout
Yep. Yep.
this
Yep.
region are acting superstitiously.
Yep. 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 And yeah, I think it's interesting because like I think that's supposed to be the case where the group the group that they have here can form like a mini society. So we have like a rulers. We have like the rulers and his wife. Uh, the priest, the church, and the slavers. But then it kind of like dissect and see how this kind of structure falling apart as they goes. And because of Aguirre, who is like in the brink of madness, and he basically lead the team into destruction.
Yeah. I mean, they would have died no matter what,
Yeah, yeah,
no
yeah,
matter who was in charge. They were completely unequipped for the journey. Like it was total foolishness from the beginning.
yeah,
I mean, we saw what difficulty the entire band of people, like the whole procession, were having
yeah,
as they were slogging through the swampy land early
yeah.
on. And he made the decision, like the guy who was leading, Gonzalo Pizarro, apparently according to Wikipedia, he made the decision to turn back. Like
Mm,
they couldn't continue on, so he just sent off a few people in
mm,
order to maintain the facade of like a successful mission. He
yeah, yeah.
sacrificed them. It seems to me.
Uh,
Because what do you think
I
all the people who didn't go on this like little miniature expedition with
I
Ursula and Aguirre and everybody, they probably turned back and went home or
yeah.
attempted to.
Well, I I just think it's less the matter of he sacrificed them, more of like he just put all the work to them. Now we out of stock. You guys, strong men, go find the glory, and like come back to tell
Don't you
us
think that's
and bring us
don't you
there.
think that's sacrifice though? I
Yeah,
doubt that they
yeah.
stayed
In a
there
way,
at
yes.
that camp that they had set up and just waited
For
for these
for
guys to
seven
come
days.
back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
Plus, by getting rid of all those people, it makes travel easier because the line isn't as long. Everybody can stay a little bit closer
Yeah,
together. There's
yeah,
less food that they have to
yeah,
give to all those people. There's fewer mouths to feed, fewer
yeah,
bodies to
yeah,
clothe.
yeah, yeah. Well, I think that makes sense. And yeah, I just think that from the technical point of view, the this film have a lot to offer. Like there are many scenes that I found really intriguing by. Like the scene where like the draft, like in the later days, when they have the draft just like moving along the river, and we see these native people just appear, like silently,
Right.
uh, and like it make you scared.
Yeah, it's very
But
suspenseful.
yeah, but then it overcut that with like the all these unseen arrows and like fake blood. And there's a scene where like one of the guy who so engraved that he chopped off the head of one of the betrayers. Remember that scene? It looks so bad.
I actually don't remember this scene. What is the context?
All
Somebody
right,
somebody gets
the
decapitated.
yeah, that's right on screen,
Oh yes,
and
it's the guy who's planning to turn back, to abandon the
yeah, and
expedition and turn back.
yeah,
And he's
and
having
he
a
talked too
conversation
loud.
with somebody, and the guy who I was
Yep,
referencing earlier, the one who sings to himself whenever he's about to follow one of Aguirre's like brutal orders,
yep,
he
yep,
approaches him from behind. The guy who he's talking to is like kind of jerking his chin upwards and glancing up, trying to clue him into the fact
yep,
that he's about to die.
yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, that scene was so bad.
You think so? I thought it was hilarious.
It's so bad in a hilarious way, and yeah. Well, I don't know. It's supposed to be funny or it's supposed to be, like straight serious.
Well, if this film is meant to be taken seriously as like an epic work of fiction, I
It failed.
yeah, I mean I didn't take it seriously at all. It seems to me
Right.
like it's a kind of a black comedy.
Yeah. Just to show like how madness and how like unreasonable these guys are, especially Aguirre.
Yeah, well, how mad he is and how mad they are for following him, I guess, but also um, how mad the entire concept of evangelism and
Yeah.
like colonization,
Mhm.
though those concepts in general, just forging a path into someone else's land, not knowing like what the hell you're doing, and doing it just
Yeah.
because you feel as though uh, the riches that may or may not be there, which probably do not exist, should be yours. Thinking
Mhm.
that your religion should be theirs, like
Yeah.
you should spread it
Yeah.
because it's the right thing to do. When really all it is an excuse to try
But
to find gold to enrich
but
the
it,
nation that
yeah,
under whose
but
banner you're working.
yeah, but the film take a stop at the priest as well. Remember, Brother Gaspar in at one point I think he said that like the church fall in the fall in the side of the throne.
Right.
That's when he sided with Aguirre and not to
Ursua.
push. Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
Petro, the Oshua.
Yeah, I think it's who exactly does he say that to? I think it's Ursua's wife or his mistress rather.
Yeah, Ursula wife.
No, it's
I
his
think I
mistress.
think that's the wife. Okay, mistress.
Yeah.
And we had the scene about the mistress who like just keep walking into the jungle and disappear. I think that scene like when we think when I talk about that I think it makes sense. But like in the actual film when we look at her just walking and like just disappear like that, it is still comical. It's still kind of like what the hell are they doing?
Well, that was a moment that I don't think was supposed to be comical. That was supposed to be like a protest on her part.
Yeah, yeah.
She was
I think it's about to be mystical as well.
yeah,
The way
a
that
little bit.
she become a part of the jungle
Yeah,
now,
in the same way
and
that the horse
she
kind of becomes a part of the jungle after they leave it behind. And
yep,
the
yep,
camera
that's right.
on the raft as it travels downstream, the horse is slowly obscured um,
Yep,
by
yep.
the angle that the camera takes. Yeah, she becomes a part of the jungle, kind of like the horse becomes a part of the jungle.
And I think yeah, the part uh, where Guzman like he left the horse behind. I think that technically it's look impressive as well.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it just moved really slowly.
Right. Mm. And what did you take on the monkeys at the end?
It's just more comedy for me. I mean,
Right.
I don't know. Aguirre is mad, so it may even be that those monkeys aren't really there, and
Yep.
he's just
Yeah.
hallucinating
Sure.
them.
Yep.
But whether or not they truly exist in reality, the idea I think is that he need like Aguirre is somebody who needs a band to command. He needs
Right.
people
He's
to
the king of the monkeys
yes,
now.
exactly. Like he needs to rule over some population. Um, and so if it's not going to be men, all of whom he has led to their deaths, it's going to be monkeys.
Right. He's the only one standing as well at the end of the
Yeah, I
film.
think so. There are some other bodies
Yeah.
on the raft, but they're not moving.
Yep. They die of fake blood and even fake arrows.
Right.
They oh man, these films.
Yeah, I didn't really enjoy it very much.
Yeah, I think it worked. It worked in the conceptual concept, but the way it's play out, it's mix a bit of comedy. But I don't think that it meshed very well with like the epic run theme of like they dissolve it into madness.
Maybe. I mean, I think you. Maybe I'm just not the right person to watch this movie and enjoy it. You know, people love it, um,
Uh,
but
yeah,
I just thought it
yeah,
was. You know, I couldn't take it seriously, and maybe the point was to find the humor in it, which I did. But man, I really don't know what to say. I mean, this movie kind of baffled me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, it for sure it influential because the Heart of Darkness, the
Right,
uh
Coppola's film.
yeah, couple of films was really influenced by these films.
Mm,
Apocalypse Now. Oh my God! Now I just remember the name.
right. Yeah, I mean that's good, I guess. Good for him.
All right, I think just move on to the next film then.
Sure.
It's up to you, man. Only theater shows or at least in the cities.
Well, which one came out first? Let's see. The 5th of March for Ali and the 17th of May for Alice. So I how about Ali Fear Eats the Soul?
All right, let's go with only theater shows.
Yeah, I enjoyed this movie a lot.
Yep, yep. I do think that I would say I enjoyed this movie and at least in the city as well much more than Aguirre the Rap God.
Yeah.
I do feel that their relationship at the beginning is a bit too quick. It's like it happened in just one day, right? It's just one night, and they are fully in love with each other.
Yeah, I mean a lot of people do that.
Yep. Well,
A lot of
true.
people will have sex on the first night that they meet.
Okay.
I think that's pretty common,
Right.
among adults.
You're right. Um, did you see the director himself, Rene Vandal Fassbinder?
Yeah, he's the son-in-law.
Yep. Yep. That's true.
Yep.
When I saw his face, I was like, he looked familiar. Is that the directors? And yeah, it turned out that's him. And he played a prick in this
Yeah, I
film.
mean, it makes sense that he would be like the director would play him. He's the least attractive person in the movie,
Yeah, true.
so he's the if anyone is going to be like spot the director, it's going to be him because he's
Yeah,
obviously not an actor.
yeah. All right. The story is itself is a love story between an old woman and a immigrant worker from Morocco.
Yeah, I don't know if I would consider this film to be a love story. I think
It
it's more like a commentary on I don't know intolerance within Germany.
Yeah, it deal a lot with racism and uh, prejudice
Yeah,
and
racism, ageism.
yeah, that's right. And like sometimes they treat the immigrant like line object, which we see like some part later on.
Are you talking about the scene where she, like a couple of her coworkers, come over to her apartment
Yep,
to
yep,
discuss, how they're going to secure these raises for themselves at their job,
yep, yep,
and she's like, "Go ahead, go and touch his muscles."
yep. Oh, he looked clean. I thought these people don't wash themselves.
Oh yeah, right.
Yep,
Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of discrimination in the film. There is a lot of racism and ageism that motivates many of the characters to say and do what they do.
yep,
But at the same time, the film is also interested in exploring what people, and this would be specifically through the characters of Emmy and Ali, like what people need to feel fulfilled,
yep.
and
That's true.
to feel as though they're leading like productive lives, not like the things they do and the lengths they go to not to feel alone.
Yep,
So it's not just critical of prejudicial attitudes. It speaks a lot. It speaks to a lot more than just that. It talks about who people are deep down,
yeah.
and what motivates them and what desires they have, things like that.
I just feel that the structure for this film is very clear. Like at first we see like the encounter between them, like two completely different people in two different worlds. Suddenly, meet each other and come to the understanding, and they have their desire fulfilled, like you said, and then later on when they're together, they met with like all these like all the cold shoulders and all the prejudice from other members of the society, especially towards Emmy's circles. And then we get into afterwards we get into a short break where they go on the vacation, which
Hmm.
happen off screen. We don't see that. And when they get back, they get treat, especially Emmy get treatment a little bit better. But then it's themselves who who having a crack. It's Emmy who try to to do things that that would please the society, and that alienated uh, Ali, and from Ali to who frustrated and don't know what to do, and then it come to the end where they kind of reconcile to each other. So I
But
think
they're reconciled.
not really sure, but they together, and she promised to take care of him,
Yeah, but the doctor's prognosis for him is that he's gonna wind up back in the hospital every 6 months.
right?
Like
So
his
what?
the problem that he has with his stomach, the ulcers are gonna eat away at him.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the future that the film leaves us with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And at many points, like other people just considers this relationship to be unnatural.
Yeah, they consider it to be unnatural and like disgusting and all that. And there,
Yeah,
in addition to that, there are also people who say it won't last.
yeah,
Like twice or even maybe even three times,
yeah.
characters say they like look at Emmy and Ali's relationship and they say, "Oh, this won't last."
Hmm.
And the interesting thing is that based on the ending that we get in the film, they were right.
It's leave it open. I think for me, it's a hopeful note.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can possibly watch this film and feel as though the conclusion is optimistic. The guy
Yeah.
is the guy's literally being eaten away at from the inside.
Yep. Yep.
So
Well,
I mean, if you're going to take anything optimistic from it, it's that she resolves not to let that happen and to care for him
all right.
as, through his sickness.
Yeah. The thing I take that is like before that they kind of live their own life again, and they have the craft, the like the split between them, that they couldn't couldn't do anything with that. But then they dance again, and then they they fall for each other again. So
Yeah, but
so
that scene is interrupted.
yep. But still they are together at the end. So they can go through the hardship together. And even if it costs Ali his life, like in the next 6 months, a year, they still, like basically have each other.
Um, I mean, maybe they will.
Yeah, so I think that's a happy note for me. So it's not something between them, but something out of Ali's sickness. So like this is like the external factor.
That's true. But the movie is all about external factors.
Yeah, that's true as
You
well.
know, the discrimination that they face, the outside forces that want to disrupt their relationship for whatever reason, whether it
Yeah,
be somebody else who's interested in Ali, or Emmy's children who react so poorly when she tells them that she's gotten
yeah,
married
yeah,
to a foreign man,
yeah.
or I don't know,
Even
the people at her job, the people in her
yeah,
building.
even to the guy who sells who sell groceries.
Yeah. Yeah, the film is very well rounded, I feel, in presenting a bunch of different like small little circles,
Yep,
I guess, that she
yep,
moves in and out of throughout her day and throughout her life. And same
yep.
for Ali on a slightly smaller scale.
And
And you get to see their how their attitudes change before and after. Like you get to compare them to how they acted before the vacation and how they do after. And that's why I say that this film is not a love story. If it were a love story, we would see the vacation because that's
that's
when
true.
we see the two characters together in a new environment where they can be free. But it's
Yep,
not about their love really.
yep,
It's about Germany and the attitudes of people who live there.
yep, yep. That's true. And I just really enjoy the way that Emmy at first treat Ellie. You know, like the way that she make not to him, but like the way that she think him as like a part of her life now. That like when other people come in, she introduce him to, she include him to the conversation, and that's when she received all these discrimination and all the shrug off from the others.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if she's married to him, she can't exactly shut him up in the closet or something until her
Yeah,
guests are gone.
yeah, but but even before that, like she did come to her daughter house to say that like in love with a younger man who is a immigrant,
Right.
and yeah, so she did inform them,
Yeah, she
and
said, I thought it was my duty to tell you. I thought
yeah,
that was
that's true.
interesting. I can't really
Uh,
relate because I don't have any children, so I wouldn't feel as though it were my duty to inform anybody about a relationship that I had.
mhm.
Um, but I guess when you've got kids and you raise them with somebody else, somebody who they think of as their father, and you bring somebody new into your life, maybe it would be your duty to tell them. I don't know.
Yeah, and we have a comic kind of comic scene as well where they go to the restaurant, the first restaurant, and they just like have a problem communicate
Yeah.
under the food.
Yeah, I thought that scene was very, very interesting. I think it's the first scene where Emmy really struggles,
Yep.
not with uh, people's like hatefulness towards Ali or their disgust at her relationship with him,
Hmm.
but like she struggles on like a class level
Yep.
because she's going to this place where she doesn't understand the questions that are being asked of her, and she doesn't really maybe she can't identify everything on the menu.
Yep.
Um, and he asks, "Would you like it rare or medium?" And she doesn't even know how to respond to that. I mean,
Yep.
that right there is an indicator of what sort of life she's lived. She's probably
Hmm.
had to work really hard just to provide for her family and provide for herself.
Yep.
And she hasn't had the opportunity to go to places where things can be cooked a multitude of ways. You
Yep.
know, so
It's
that
it's
is
still
very.
a yep. It's still a Germany message. Yes.
So what?
About the life in Germany in the 70s.
What's that? What
So
message is that?
it's a class dividend.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's the whole scene at the restaurant. I think is meant to kind of introduce a new factor
Hmm.
um, in the sort of message that the film is delivering in her relationship to Ali as well. Like money starts to become um, a lot more visible, maybe
Hmm.
after that scene. And
Yep.
then he at the towards the very end, he ends up gambling a lot of it away. He sends a
Yeah.
guy to their apartment to get him 100 marks
Yep.
so that he can just lose it.
Yeah.
And even the
Ah.
barmaid is like, "They're just fleecing you. Stop it."
Bruh. And then he said something in Arab.
Kif kif.
Keep keep yeah keep keep.
Yeah, which means like it doesn't matter, you know.
There's a lot of little scenes that I really enjoy in these films, and yeah, I think it's a work towards the themes of the films. Um, let me remember. One of them is about the new workmate in for Emmys,
Yolanda,
Yolanda. All right, you got her name, and she getting treated exactly the way that Emmy got shown before,
right?
and now Emmy is the part of the majority. So I think
Yeah,
that's in rich retelling.
yeah. Emmy is definitely she has her own prejudices, you know.
Mhm.
When one of her friends comes over to the
I
apartment to ask her to do something for a wedding, I think um, she's like shocked by the fact that Ali is there, and she leaves like as soon as she sees that Ali's there. She's like,
oh
"Oh, never
right, yeah,
never
yeah,
mind about what I wanted you to do this Monday for the wedding or whatever.
yep, yep.
We'll find somebody else."
It's
And
it's
then
not a
when
wedding.
Ali says that she had death in her eye,
Yep,
um, Emmy's like, "Oh no, she's fine. She's a good person."
yep. It's not the wedding though. Is it the wedding? It's to find someone to replace her on Monday. Maybe that due to the wedding of her daughter or something. I don't
Yeah,
recall.
somebody was getting married,
Yep.
based on their conversation, and she wanted Emmy. I don't know. She wanted her to attend the wedding
Do her ship.
or or what?
To replay her ship.
To take her shift?
Yeah, to take her ship.
No, I don't think that was one of her coworkers. That was one of her friends.
Oh really? I
I
think
think
that's
so.
her coworkers. All right.
No, I don't remember seeing her at any point in the film apart from that one. But I could be mistaken.
Right. I
Uh,
thought she was the main one from the coworkers who the and then after that she got shunned in the work because that woman obviously talked to her workmate.
oh, that would line up in terms of the
The,
narrative.
yeah,
Like
the
the cause and
continuity.
effect of how they would discover something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that could be.
Yeah. Um.
So she shuns Yolanda. She doesn't like offer to invite her over to her apartment the same way.
Mhm.
And we even see her. The film takes the same angle. The camera takes the same angle. We see her through the bars of the stairway,
Yeah, that's true.
and then she doesn't prepare couscous for Ali. And the
Yeah.
way that she talks about it and her refusal to do it is kind of pointed and kind of blunt. Like,
Yeah.
oh no, I don't like that couscous. That's no, I don't. I'm not going to prepare that. I just don't. I just don't think that's right.
Yeah.
She's
Yeah.
not
I
exactly the most sensitive way to go
I
about that situation. You just make the man some couscous, please.
yeah. But I think it's more of her. It's not because her being prejudiced, but it's more of her wanting to, to act to get belong into that circle again.
Hmm?
So that's like her desperate action to get belong again. So she not try to discriminate the new coworker, or she not try to like shun Ali, make him objectable, but it more because she want to belong to her circle, so that's why she acted this way.
Yeah, but what has the movie taught us about her social circles for the
Yeah,
majority of the film?
a bunch of really extreme pre prejudiced people, but yes.
Well, they just want things to be their way.
Hmm.
They want to see Germans marrying Germans and having German babies,
Yeah,
and anything apart from that is they see as an affront because it like disrupts the way that they feel their lives should be and their surroundings should be.
Yeah.
So, and making, making non-German foods like couscous would also be the sort of a violation of what they want and what they expect their life to be.
Mhm. But Ali doesn't fare any better though when Amy visit him at work, and the college remark that she is
His grandma.
his grandma, his
Yeah.
Moroccan grandma,
Yeah.
and uh, he just laughed along.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He does the first time. The second time he doesn't. You can see he's got his head down and he looks sad,
yeah,
because she's left or has indicated that she's going to leave and she's upset.
yeah,
Yeah, that's. I mean, Ali he's unfaithful and he gambles away their money, and he is super disrespectful towards her by not standing up for her in that scene. Um, so there, I mean, that's his end of their relationship kind of breaking down.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Sure.
The way that the film takes its time to show uh, the wedge that's kind of driven between them, both by the hate that they have to deal with on a daily basis, and also the difference in their cultures, the difference in their ages,
Yeah.
and in their desires, and just the two of them as individuals. All that is covered by
Mm.
different scenes, different styles, I guess. Um, Different tacks that the film takes at various points,
Yeah,
which
yeah,
it's
that's
really
true.
thorough. I feel like the film's really thorough in painting a picture of two people who like come together and fall in love very quickly, but they they drift apart a lot more slowly than they come together,
Yeah,
because that's typically how it goes. You meet somebody, everything's great really fast and for a really short period of time, and then everything kind of settles more slowly. You reach a baseline, and that baseline is going to vary from couple to couple, person to person. In this case, there was a little bit too much for them to deal with, I guess.
yeah,
And she makes an attempt to put things back together at the end,
mm.
but what we're left with is not a picture of a relationship that is in a healthy place. I mean, he's quite literally sick.
Yeah, yeah,
He's literally unhealthy,
yeah. Well,
which is really sad. It's
it's sad, but as I said, it still feel uplifting for me.
yeah,
I
I
see me there
still
for
don't
him.
understand that.
Yeah. I love the framing of this film, like the way uh the way the shot tend to have a tendency of like frame the characters like inside the buildings, and
Hmm.
like we will see through the door from another room
Yeah.
into the characters. I like that.
Yeah, one scene that really stood out to me in that respect is the scene in the restaurant that we were talking about earlier.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
The final shot of that scene, with the two of them framed through the doorway in the room where I suppose you can make a reservation and have that room all to yourself. And the camera pulls back so that the door frame gets narrower and narrower, with the
yeah,
two of them sitting side by side, kind of trapped.
yeah,
And this is just after they're married as well. You would figure a shot like that, like in an ordinary marriage drama, I guess, a shot like that probably wouldn't occur until later, after the honeymoon phase.
yeah.
But in this film, it arrives pretty quickly after they leave, from City Hall. And I don't know if you saw the message that I sent to you. Like, what is this? What is this material in the foreground of this shot? Did you see a screen cap that I sent you with that message online?
No, actually, no.
Okay,
Was that?
I deleted
Sorry.
it because I
Oh,
figured out what it was. Do you remember the scene where they leave City Hall?
right. Yep.
And he's got, I don't know who's holding the bouquet of roses, but one of them is holding a bouquet of roses. They're both dressed up in like their fanciest clothes, and they're leaving City Hall, indicating that they just signed marriage documents.
Uh huh.
And then after we see them leave the building, the camera pans over. We see the little placard on the side of the wall indicating that it's the Civil Registry building.
Yep.
The
Yep.
very next shot, the camera cuts to like a wide shot, kind of close to the ground, of the
Yep.
two of them walking out of the building. And there's a bunch of piles of like dark, wet soil
Right.
just on the ground,
Uh, no, I don't.
obscuring their exit from this building. It's so bizarre. Like the choice
Mm.
to leave that stuff there. Obviously, you're directing a film. You can clear that stuff away.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
but Fassbender elected to keep it there, almost as a
Mm.
stain on that scene. Very
Mm.
intriguing. I even wonder if
Interesting.
he placed it there to
Yeah.
add like a little bit of discoloration or dirtiness,
Yeah.
to kind of,
Obstacle.
yeah, exactly, yes, it's a
Mm.
good way to put it.
Yeah,
I
that's
was
very interesting.
so that when I saw that, I immediately took a screen cap of it because I was like, this is such a weird choice. Um, but given the way that their relationship plays out and all the struggles they have to deal with, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I found it interesting as well that this film is just I just read in wiki this film just shot in under 2 weeks, so very quick.
Hmm.
And as an exercise between his two movies, his work on other two movies,
Huh.
to fill the time in his schedule between the work of two other movies. So it just it just a he just shot that as just an exercise.
Maybe that's why we didn't see the vacation.
Yeah, that's
Not enough
right.
time to switch,
Not in the budget.
locations. Yeah.
That's true.
He had to get back to working on one of his other films. Couldn't shoot the vacation.
Whereas I'm having a look at Aguirre now because I want to know like how long that film have been shot.
They probably got stuck down there.
Yeah, I would say a few months at least. I couldn't find a source for that, but yeah, that one would take a long time to shoot, and this one is just like in a mere 10 days.
Yeah, well, I mean, I simple is best.
Yes, that's true. That's true in this case. Yes,
The longer your film and the more involved, like the more ways you can mess it up.
and yeah, and that's why we got like all the comical arrows to the bodies. Yep. All right. Shall we get into the last films? At least in the series.
Sure.
All right. You have any other note on Ali before that?
I mean, I think I probably do, but that's fine. We obviously disagree about the
The
film's
ending.
larger, yeah, the larger, well, not the larger message, but yeah, the ending, the tone of the ending.
Yeah. But we agree on basically everything else.
Oh, probably, including
Yeah.
that the film's pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
It's pretty good. Alice in the
Okay.
Cities, I thought was okay. Was all
Yeah,
right.
I enjoy it.
Coming into it, I mean, I was hoping, I guess, like selfishly, that it was going to
Yep.
be more optimistic than it was. It was
It
the relationship between the two major characters was going to be like a lot sunnier. Because that's the
it
sort of thing I like.
all right. It's a near all right. I think they form a really special relationship, and yeah, I I like it. And
I don't know, man. When he says to her, "Do you think I really enjoy riding around with a little girl and spending all my money, like wasting all my money?" I
yep.
didn't think that was a particularly happy moment.
Yeah,
or
but they reconcile after that. They like after he bring her up to the police, and then he go to see like the music festival. I think
Yeah.
that scene was really weird.
What, the
It
Chuck
just
Berry concert?
yeah, that's right. And then he came back to he came back to the hotel to find the girls there, and the girl said, "I just I run away from the police." Uh, and he just so happy, like he said, like, okay, now we gonna look at the grandma house now. Now we have more clues, So afterward, it was like they af- after the separation, they actually found out, like they enjoy each other company more.
Right.
But if you want to watch a more sunny version of, like a relationship, it's not a relationship, a
It's a
companionship.
relationship.
Yeah, the companionship between the old man and the young girls. You can watch Paper Moon because it released around the same time, and Wim Wenders, when look at Paper Moon, he was upset because, like they have the main concept of these films that he nearly didn't want to make these films anymore.
Hmm. I feel like there's probably been a lot of situations like that throughout the history of
Yep.
filmmaking, and I don't know. You can extend it far beyond that, probably
Yeah.
to like authorship,
Play. Yep.
writing, just in general. People publishing novels, books around the same time as each other with very similar premises or settings or
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
Yeah, that's got to be discouraging.
It is.
But the
But
film came out okay, so.
yeah,
And
that's
I'm
true.
sure. I mean, he's a famous director, so I'm sure he wasn't. Maybe at that point in his career, he. Uh,
His wasn't that famous. I think it's like it's just early stage of his film career.
yeah, but I mean, he would be like maybe less secure. He
Yeah.
would feel
Yep.
less secure about putting out a piece of work that was similar to someone else's.
Yep.
Whereas you move 10, 15 years beyond this film, and the guy's probably like, man, I don't care. I'm just going to do whatever I want. If it's
Yep.
similar to what somebody else has done, screw it.
Yep. Uh, yeah. So this film is about a guy, a writer who, like when we at first see him, he lost in America. He he's supposed to write a piece about his I think his feeling in America, and he just, like come up emptiness,
Yeah.
empty, and
Well, he
he
doesn't write
take
it at all. That's the
yeah,
thing.
he just take a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, and when he shows the pictures to his editor, the editor's like, "You were supposed to write words,"
Yeah. Yeah.
and he did not do that.
Yeah, that's true. And yeah, I didn't expect it to start in America. So I think that and I thought the whole movie is, like will be set in America. So yeah, it's kind of a pleasant surprise to see that, like they eventually move away to Europe, to Amsterdam, and then on the road trip again to find her grandma's whereabouts. But for me personally, I think it's just like really a shot in the dark.
Yeah, but they do end up finding the house.
Yeah, that's true, but not the grandma.
No, I mean maybe the implication is that oh no, the grandma's not dead,
No, 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 no.
right? Based on what the policeman tells him towards the end of the movie. But
Yeah,
when I saw that there was an old Italian woman, well, not old, there was an Italian woman living there, and she'd been living there for 2 years, I immediately
yeah,
thought, oh, the grandma died.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I thought that as well. But in general, I like the flow of this movie. So it's go between, between countries, between continents. But there are two scenes in the movies where I think it forced the plot a bit too much. One of them is about Alice's mother who decide not to come with them to Amsterdam, and and basically leave her kid to a man.
Yeah, that was a weird decision, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. But
But I don't know. I don't know what the circumstances of that relationship were that
that's
she
true.
had with some guy. I mean, obviously, there's no excuse for what she
Yeah,
did. It was just to kick off the movie, pretty much.
that's true. And the second one is for sure they would have enough more information if like they could ask the police, so the police know more about them than like what they have been doing for I say days, 10 days, to a month. So yeah, I think it's a good decision to leave her with the police. uh and I think that the police who catch it them later on is a bit too much of a convenient.
The guy who finds them on the ferry or wherever it
Yeah,
is that they are.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good for them that
just
he was on board.
yes, just the 2 points. Otherwise, I think I really enjoyed the way that this relationship progress, because he's as we see, he's not a really likable guy. He lost himself. He's out money. He dead broke. He doesn't know what to do. He just want to go back to Munich to uh to find some purpose in life, and then he will be back in New York. I think at some point he told Alice that he probably will go back to America, right?
Well, he doesn't say that he'll probably go back, but he does say that he would rather stay there.
Right.
She
So
says, "Why didn't you?" He says, "I'm out of money. I
yeah,
have no money."
yeah.
But
So
his plan
he
all along was probably to go back home and see his parents
yeah,
because he's
which he
got no
failed to do.
cash.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. But he failed to do because Alice give him the monies.
Right.
I think that scene was good. That scene alone was really sweet.
Well, she gives him the money so that he can purchase the ticket to go with her.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. Yep, yep. Uh,
So that scene is kind of, yeah.
and
It's not like she's giving him the money um, out of pity or anything. Though
yeah,
I
well,
mean, he's the sort of character that a child could feel pity for, I guess. But um, she's giving him the money like that is an acknowledgement on her part that she wants him to continue on this journey with her.
yeah, and yeah, it we still haven't know for sure if they reached that destination though successfully though. Like there might be chances that that her mother stood them up again as she did in Amsterdam.
I guess
Uh,
that's a possibility.
yeah, or the chief chances that like the grandma was not there when they reached Munich. So like I want to see more. So I think the film ended in the like in the perfect note. Not like make me still want to see more.
I thought the ending was a little strained.
Yeah. How?
Not strange, strained, because the
Oh,
shot of the train, you know, uh, I don't know if they were in a helicopter shooting that or if they were just up on a hill someplace.
yep.
The exterior shot of the train as it's going along the tracks there against the backdrop of the hill, and then the camera continues to pan upwards and to the right until it leaves the train behind, and then you see um, the German highlands, I guess,
Hmm.
with
Hmm.
all these hills and farmland and the sky and the backdrop of the sky and everything. It just it feels too big. It feels too grand. I mean, the whole film has been pretty intimate in scope.
Hmm.
You
Hmm.
know, taking place within cities, a lot of close-up shots, a lot of shots within cars and
Hmm.
small hotel rooms, focusing mostly on two characters and their faces and their body language. And then all of a
Hmm.
sudden it opens up to this like, oh man, look the world. Look at this shot of look at this landscape shot. Oh man, isn't this meaningful?
Hmm.
It
I
doesn't seem to belong.
I think I understand your point. I think I agree with that as well. If the film close a close up of something, I think it would make a much bigger impact. It's more appropriate. Let's say.
Yeah, I would prefer an ending where it's the two of them on the train like that, and then they have some little exchange about what both of them are going to do from here
Mm-hmm.
on,
Mm-hmm.
which they do in the actual film. She says,
Yep.
"What are you going to do next?" And he says, "I'm going to finish writing this story."
Yep. Yep.
And then, they could have some little exchange like that and then just lead into like a little moment of silence between the two characters where they're both looking at each other and
Com-
smiling and then fade to black. I think that'd be fine.
yeah, that's true. Yep. I would prefer that as well. Mm.
Yeah,
But
but I'm sure all the film critics out there are like, "Oh my god, a landscape shot? This movie this movie's deep as hell."
epic.
Yeah, right. Rivals Aguirre, the Wrath of God, the position of most epic new German cinema movie.
I would say after watching this movie, that's all the budget that the film has is for the ticket flights for this character to go from place to places.
Oh yeah.
that's that,
I mean,
that,
how
that,
does that work when you're making a movie? Do you have to pay to have your characters go on a
well,
train or whatever or on a bus? Oh, do you remember that shot of the hanging rail car?
hanging rail car.
Yeah, when they go on
Oh
the
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right.
railway, like it
Yeah, yeah,
hangs from
yeah.
the track in the
Yep,
air. In
yep,
Wuppertal, I think Wuppertal.
yep, 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 yep.
That was so cool.
It is, and it's considered that it's in the 70s.
Yeah,
I don't
I
know. I don't.
I've never been
Yeah,
on a train like that in my
that's true.
life.
I was about to ask if like American have some sort of that.
They there
Uh,
there are yeah, they we do in some cities, but I've never been on one.
yeah. Well, I know that I think Japan still have them.
Yeah, they're cool,
Uh,
man.
they really cool. I don't think that here in Australia they have any. So
Hmm.
yeah, consider that in the 70s and they have that. Damn.
Come to
Yeah.
Germany, everyone. Ride in
Yeah.
our hanging car rail system.
Yeah. To answer what you asked earlier, so I think they will be handle out the budget. So like maybe 10 grand, and you can pay, and then you can claim tax or something. So I think they get the ticket out of that budget
I was wondering if you would have
for
to
the
pay at
patrol.
all. Like, couldn't you just claim that we're bringing a film crew on and this is going to be in a major motion picture, and you know there's going to be some little sign that we put in some shot somewhere advertising
Mm,
your business.
they might work out this kind of deal, but I doubt it. I doubt it that the airline would get like a crew, so like about 10 people for free.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I'm not a movie maker,
yep,
obviously. Listening to me, I don't make movies.
yep. So yeah, I think it's intentional that our main characters and even at least are sort of unlikable at first. Uh, he like
I don't
not knowing what he wants to do.
I don't know
Uh,
if I would call him unlikable.
yeah, well, it's
To me, he just seems like a vessel, you know, at
yeah, well,
first anyway. Like
yeah, yeah,
he's just a means by which Vendors is kind of exploring America or attempting to, kind of clumsily, I think, by having his character like watch TV and stay in motels and stuff. Like this is supposed to be part of the American experience.
hmm
Is this what Germans think America is? Is motels
uh, it look
and
it
like rock and roll music on the radio?
well maybe
I thought this film's commentary on America was kind of weird.
right because one of my experience, one of my old experience with America would be like motel, fast food, and just one of them.
But that's
And
just a fact of travel.
yeah, that's true. But
If I were
yeah,
to go to Germany,
that's the
I
same.
would probably stay in motels and eat at cafes.
Yeah, and destroy the TV as well. Actually, in two of these films, we have someone destroy the TV. So
Oh, you're right.
the German have some
The new
uh,
German cinema trademark, destroying televisions. You better believe that if
uh
Aguirre were remade in the modern day, then
there would yeah.
Klaus Kinski would be smashing a TV to bits way more than either of the other characters.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. Or maybe in his other films that happened. So
Maybe in
or
one of
or,
Herzog's films, somebody
yeah,
smashes a TV.
or,
Probably.
uh, it could just be the German just have something against the TV.
Well, his character certainly has something against like American television. He just feels like everything is too. There are too many ads. Everything's too commercialized.
Yeah,
The people who are making this stuff have contempt for their audience.
yeah,
But I mean, you yourself as the filmmaker obviously have contempt for the medium of television. If you're telling your character and your actor to smash a TV,
mhm,
who's the person who actually has contempt in this scenario?
yeah. I don't I like personally I don't get what his contempt about that American consumables
Well, he just thinks that
about
it's
because
probably a criticism of capitalism.
right because I do think that like some part of the German where he stayed would be the same, but
Perhaps,
well
maybe.
maybe that's just to point out the difference between like Europe and American culture in his part.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. But as an American, whenever I see a representation of America in a European film,
Yep, yep, yep.
it feels. Um,
With
I'm
consumerism.
first of all I'm interested. I'm interested to see what the how they would process it, I
Yep.
suppose. But
Hmm.
many of them, including like for the foreign films that we've watched for this podcast, I
Hmm.
just get the sense that Americans are just kind of like pigs, and everything that's made for them is like put in a trough for a pig to eat. That's the concept that they have of
Uh,
anything that originates in America and is fed to all of their obese citizens.
all right. How about the American treatment in anime?
The treatment of American characters in anime, like
Yeah,
Keith
yeah.
Bandit from Yu-Gi-Oh, who wears the American bandana.
Yeah, 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 yeah. All right. Oh my.
I it's amusing. It's amusing to me
Well, I how how that character just come directly into your mind? I
because
completely
he
forgot about
says,
him until you mentioned. Yeah.
"Have you seen Yu-Gi-Oh Abridged?"
Yep, yeah, yep. I have, I
Yeah,
have.
I
I
mean
know that
that's
guy.
why the character popped right into my mind because he says "in America." That's his catchphrase.
Yep.
In America.
He just say that in
Yeah.
America. Okay.
Yeah. Well, he'll deliver his lines and then
Right.
he'll pause and then finish it up with "in America."
Okay. Oh man, that guy. I remember him. I think he plays some sort of like machine type
Yes, that's right.
thing, and
He did play machines.
he have like 30 or 40 snakes in his trouser. He
Wow,
yeah, well
30 or
he's
40 decks.
he's the one who I think he's the one who the first time we see the zombie deck because he gave like one of the zombie deck to one of his uh
One of his underlings.
underlings. Yeah,
Yeah, I remember Joey having a fight with a zombie guy in a cave, like underground, and
yeah,
somehow Keith Bandit had orchestrated that whole thing.
yeah, yeah. That's
It's
true.
true. We should just talk about Yu-Gi-Oh from now on.
Oh god.
I don't know
Have
enough
you?
about the actual card game. I mean, I know more than the average person. I've played it and everything, but I don't know enough to talk about it. Like, so in season 2, episode 17, this card was played, which was originally in this expansion. I can't do that.
So thank God that Yu-Gi-Oh is not on our tournament.
But just listen to me right now. I'm talking about a cartoon. Well, actually, I was going to make a larger point about how the cartoon was just selling me a bunch of crap that I don't need, like a typical American. But it's a
Right.
Japanese television series, so that doesn't really hold up.
Well, all right. Uh, yeah, back to the film. I think that the performance of the two main characters are really good, especially the girls.
I don't. Yeah, I mean, I think I would agree. I just don't. I I don't really know how to gauge it. It hardly even
Gaze.
felt like acting. No, gauge, like to
All
measure.
right.
I
All
hardly
right.
know how
Yep.
to gauge it
Yep. Yep.
because, you know, sometimes when you watch a child give a great performance, you're like, wow, they are a really great actor.
Right.
But in this film, Jella Rotlander, which was the girl
Her
who
name.
played Alice, that's her name, Jella.
Yep.
It hardly felt like she was acting at all.
It's a good thing then, right? Because
I think so.
when you see a kid act, it like it take on the naturalism and it take you out the film, the performance.
Well, it can, but sometimes a kid gives a really good performance, and you
Mm.
recognize it as such. Like like the kid is really giving a conscious performance.
Yep.
I didn't. I felt as though Rotlander, like, I don't know, and maybe the her role in the film was explained to her as just this guy's kind of like your uncle, and just have fun with it. And it was like
Yeah.
her first time
You
acting, and
you get to eat a lot of ice cream.
right, yeah. I don't know. I just felt like maybe the quality of her performance should be a large part of that might should be like attributed to the director.
Yep.
Um,
She got I think she appeared in Wim Wenders films more in the future. So like if we want to know her acting skill or range, we could watch her appearance in others of Wenders movies.
yeah, you'd have to compare her against herself, I
Yep.
suppose. I just took a quick look at her Wikipedia page, and apparently she is a doctor. And in 2014, she received a doctorate from the University of Munich with a thesis on the use of 3D reconstructions in the treatment of atrial fibrillations.
Wow, what the hell?
Yeah.
I thought she was the custom designer. Well, she is a custom designer as well. And
This
now
is like a
she,
Renaissance woman.
right. She an actress, a custom designer, and a doctor.
Yep.
So cool.
I enjoyed her performance.
Right.
Thought it was good.
Yeah.
She reacted, like she was kind of frightened. She was scared when he would raise his voice at her and like refuse to tell her a story.
Hmm.
In that one scene in the hotel where she would cover herself up with the covers, and then he would start to tell her the story, and she would uncover herself. You know, she
Yep.
was her vulnerability contributed a lot to our understanding of the character on the
Yep.
screen.
And
She was also very good at being bratty,
yep.
um, saying that she didn't want to eat at a particular restaurant. She wanted to have a real meal.
Oh,
Um,
that restaurant is a Chinese restaurant
oh,
because
really?
they have like the Chinese or Cantonese song singing at the time, and I just realized like on the poster that on that was I think in Chinese. So I think
Huh.
that's contribute to why she doesn't want to eat at the place.
Interesting. I
Yeah,
mean, but when she was reading the menu, it was all in Dutch, right?
right. It's all in Dutch.
Okay.
And the fact that she can speak Dutch, her character can speak Dutch, but I don't know if she herself can speak any Dutch.
Well, she obviously spoke Dutch in that
Yeah,
scene. I mean, maybe she
in
was
the
just fed
bubble.
the lines.
Yeah, yeah.
Huh. I didn't,
Mhm.
man, really? Because I looked at some of the like the stickers and the papers and posters that were on the wall in that scene because it was
Yep,
very like specifically decorated. It seemed to me, but I
yep.
didn't see any Chinese characters. I guess I just
It
overlooked them.
no. Oh, you're right. But it that restaurant just remind me greatly to like the In the Mood for Love decoration. So I think it's come from the same cultures. So that's
Hmm.
why I took a Chinese. But for sure they sing in Chinese at the time. The song playing.
Interesting.
Yeah. All right. One last question from me before we close this episode off. Out of the three directors, which one that you would want to see more of?
Definitely Fassbender.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mhm.
100%. It's the movie that I like the most, and also I think that Fassbender is just the most methodical
Yeah.
director.
Out of the three.
The Yeah, the most technical. The like the slowest, the quietest.
Mhm. All right.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Fair enough.
I can't say I'm interested in watching any more Herzog movies that are
Yeah.
like this one. I mean, I know he's got a massive filmography, and like half of it is documentaries, at least half at this point,
Yep.
because he's made
Yep.
so many, and he's still active even in his older age.
Yep. Wim Wenders is kind of the same as well. So he make a lot of documentaries,
Yeah,
and
he did
some.
Buena Vista Social Club, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That one, and he did a his later documentary was acclaimed as well, like the Salt of the Earth, Pina. So yeah, but he did make some other movie as well that even more claims like Pirate Desert, which won the Cannes, um, Wings of Desire.
Hmm.
Yeah, so yeah, they both have like a really extended filmology,
Yeah.
and they're still alive even now. It one thing that actually a bit sad for me is that when I look at Ali Fear of the Souls, and basically all these main staff and main cast have already passed away, even though it's just like 40 years ago.
Almost 50.
So all right, almost 50 years
In
ago.
fact,
But
the first of these three films, Aguirre, was made 51 years ago.
oh god,
The other two, 49
right,
years ago.
yeah. But uh, my point of comparison is that even the cast in Aguirre, the Wrath of God, or in at least in the city, are still alive even now. And I actually the guy who played Ursula in Aguirre, the Wrath of God, is another famous director from Brazil, uh, Rui Guerra, and he's
Hmm.
still alive even now. But all the cast of Ali Theater show are passed away, and some of them are at the young age. So
Hmm.
that'd be sad. It's like a
Yeah.
lost, like a lost films, so to speak now.
Uh, I mean, the film is here, but
Yeah.
you know, if you connect with the film and then find out that the people who were instrumental in making it, bringing it to life, are dead, yeah, it feels a little kind
Yeah.
of melancholy.
Hmm.
But that's the most melancholy of these three films by a long shot. So
True.
kind of
True.
fits.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Personally, I would want to watch more of Inventors because uh yeah, I just kind of like to see his other group movies because it have a lot of for me improvisation. They make up the point they goes. I don't feel that much in this film, at least in CD. But I'm eager to see more, to find out.
All right. Well, we probably won't be watching any more of his films anytime soon because we do have a habit of
Yep,
jumping from country to country, time period to time
that's true.
period, theme to
That's true.
theme. And speaking of which, I don't think I know what our next country theme or time period will be,
Yeah,
but we'll come up with one or more than
yep,
one, as the case may
yep.
be.
All right. I think that's it for us this week.
Yeah, we'll see you again in
And
about 21 days.
yep. All right.